I think so. I think about human beings as we grow and develop. You know, you need obviously exposure to new knowledge, so new thoughts and ideas. That's great, but that is reading a book. That's so low level in development. It's just being aware. Then it's reflection, thinking about what you're learning, thinking about. But the most important is experimentation. So if you were to think about the people who you talk to, what type of experiences or experiments do they need to start as a foray into self-awareness? Like, what are just some really good like practices? Maybe it's meditating, maybe it's breathing. I know a lot of people out there, and I know I was one of them. I'm a convert now, or like meditating. That's woo-woo.
Yeah. No,
But what ways can we experiment with expanding our self-awareness? Like, what's the process?
I mean, I think a lot of times the way it works is that someone's experiencing pain they don't know what to do with, and then they start doing these things instead of prepping themselves for when pain will inevitably come. And so I as well was someone that wanted to meditate. I had meditated here and there, but it hadn't really hit me until I was in the midst of a divorce. And every morning I would wake up and say, I can't believe this is my freaking reality right now. And I felt so ungrounded. I knew for me to get through the day, I had to do really solid work. And so at that time, it was like a 2-hour thing. I don't do the full 2 hours anymore, but it was, I woke up and I did Sam Harris's meditation through his Waking Up app. I would read the book, either The Untethered Soul or Awareness, which were both really good kind of mindful books for me. I journaled to get all the feelings out, into my journal. I'd then do a plank for a while. I'd do some push-ups, go for a walk. And by the end of all this and listening to a playlist that made me feel happy, that was curated, I felt like, okay, I can enter the day and not lose my freaking mind. And so a lot of people wait till that moment, me included, to start some activities that help you feel more grounded. But now kind of being further into this process and just saying, I just feel so much better when I meditate. I feel like I'm not just stuck in achieving or just stuck in parenting, but that there's these things that I can zoom out and say, life is so much bigger than what I usually give it credit for. Finding those things individually, I think, is really important. So it could be meditation, it could be walking. The book, Stealing Fire, I think really captures what we're trying to do with a lot of these different approaches, because he talks about really what we're looking at is how do we quickly get into flow state. When we're working and we're in that flow state and time pauses, we want to get there as quickly as possible. And when you look at the neuroscience, it's when the brain can talk to different parts of the brain it normally doesn't talk to. And so we have this kind of default mode network of the brain, and different things pull us into that flow state differently. And so that could be running, that could be exercising, that could be meditating. And so looking at the menu of different things that are good for you, and saying, I'm going to just try that for a couple of weeks. I'm going to commit to meditating daily and just see what happens. I'm going to commit to doing these particular things that are good for my brain. That's where you as an individual start to say, here's my unique menu. So for me, I know that it's these 3 or 4 things in a morning that really help me feel great entering into the day. And for someone else, it might be 3 or 4 other things, which is different than how most self-development people talk, where they have their 5-point plan that usually spells something, and it's like, you do these 5 things every day, you're gonna feel like a rock star. And that may work. But I think it also then makes people think that those are the only 5 things, and they aren't on the hunt for what else could be good for me. So I think that once we start developing those things, then having flexibility around how that looks too, because some people will say, here's my morning routine, and then they feel like they have to do that for the next 15 years and never change it, and they feel bad if they change it or if they miss a day. I don't need to do that full 2 hours I did at the beginning of the divorce process. And so to be able to then step back and give myself permission and say, you know what, today just feels like a plank day, or today feels like just a walk day or a meditation day. And having that flexibility with yourself, to me, then is showing that kindness that we want to give out into the world back to ourselves to then prep us to be able to do the best work that we can in the world.